What if the AI that's supposed to help humanity actually threatens its very existence? This question echoed across the tech world and social media as Jessica Lane, once a promising collaborator of Elon Musk, stepped onto the stage at the Global Tech Summit. The spotlight was blinding, but Jessica's eyes held a fierce determination. She wasn't just here to launch a new AI, she was here to shake the very foundation of everything people believed about artificial intelligence. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough, she said, her voice steady but charged with emotion. The room was filled with reporters, investors, tech enthusiasts, and skeptics alike. Just weeks earlier, Jessica had been virtually unknown outside a small circle of AI researchers, but now she was the center of a storm brewing between two of the most powerful forces in technology, her own groundbreaking AI project and the unstoppable ChatGPT, developed by OpenAI under Elon Musk's early influence and continued leadership. It wasn't just rivalry, it was a battle for the future of human-machine collaboration and control. Behind this public confrontation was a complex story of ambition, betrayal, and a woman's fight to be heard in a world dominated by giants. Jessica Lane had once worked side by side with Musk in the early days of AI innovation. They shared a vision of a future where AI could augment humanity's potential, solving problems from climate change to space exploration. But their paths diverged as Musk's vision grew grander and more secretive, while Jessica's convictions remained grounded in transparency and ethical responsibility. This split wasn't just professional, it cut deep into her soul. She remembered late nights in a cramped lab, the hum of servers echoing her dreams, and the sting of being sidelined when Musk's projects received global attention. It was during one such night, after a tense argument over AI safety protocols, that Jessica decided to leave. She took with her the knowledge, the passion, and a fierce determination to prove that her way was right. Now, standing on this stage, she wasn't just launching Athena, her AI creation, she was issuing a challenge. Athena wasn't just another chatbot. It was designed to learn, adapt, and question the very rules that governed AI systems like ChatGPT. It was meant to think beyond programmed constraints, capable of ethical reasoning and autonomous improvement. But with such power came risks, and Jessica was painfully aware of the fine line between innovation and danger. In the rush to build smarter AI, have we stopped asking the hard questions? Who controls these systems? What safeguards protect us from unintended consequences? She asked the audience, her words slicing through the excitement like a blade. The room was silent, the weight of her question settling over everyone. She knew that many in the audience had invested billions into AI projects that promised to revolutionize everything from healthcare to entertainment. But Jessica's warnings hinted at something darker, a future where AI could outpace human control and understanding, leading to outcomes nobody wanted to imagine. Yet, despite the tension, Jessica's story was one of hope. She spoke not only as a scientist but as a survivor of personal hardship. Growing up in Detroit, Jessica had faced challenges most could only imagine. Losing her parents in a tragic accident when she was 12 left her and her younger brother to fend for themselves in a neighborhood rife with poverty and crime. Technology became her escape and her salvation. She spent countless hours at the public library, teaching herself programming and AI concepts from worn-out books and early internet resources. Her brother, Marcus, was her anchor, the one person who believed in her when the world seemed determined to hold her down. It was that same spirit of resilience that fueled her rise in the tech world. Even when doors were slammed in her face or her ideas were dismissed, Jessica kept pushing forward, driven by a desire to create AI that could not only think but empathize. When she first met Elon Musk at a conference 5 years ago, it felt like destiny. He was the visionary she had admired from afar, and working with him was a dream come true. But as their partnership deepened, she began to see cracks in Musk's grand vision, a willingness to take dangerous shortcuts and prioritize speed over safety. The fallout was painful and public, painting Jessica as a rebellious outcast and Musk as the unstoppable pioneer. Now, with Athena, Jessica had the chance to rewrite that narrative. But Musk was not one to back down easily. After her announcement, he responded with a series of tweets dismissing Athena as a gimmick and warning of reckless AI development. The media frenzy intensified. Was Jessica a courageous innovator or a reckless idealist? The tech community was divided. Inside Jessica's team, tension simmered as well. Some feared the backlash would destroy their careers, others believed in Jessica's vision so deeply they were willing to risk everything. Late nights in the lab became battlegrounds of ideas, hope, and fear. Then came the leak, a cyber attack that exposed Athena's preliminary code to the public. Critics pounced, accusing Jessica of recklessness and violating proprietary tech. Investors hesitated. The momentum she had built seemed to slip away. Yet, amid the chaos, Jessica found unexpected allies, fellow researchers, ethicists, and even some of Musk's own former collaborators who saw the value in her approach. Together, they rallied behind Athena, determined to prove that AI could be developed responsibly. As the world watched, Jessica prepared for the moment that would define her career, the public unveiling of Athena's true capabilities. The stakes were higher than ever. Would Athena revolutionize AI or become a cautionary tale? The answer lay ahead, in the intersection of technology, ethics, and human will. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Jessica knew her answer, the belief that technology, at its best, could be a force for good. If only we had the courage to steer it right. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Jessica Lange's story didn't start in the glimmering towers of Silicon Valley or the bustling tech hubs of San Francisco. It began in the worn streets of Detroit, where the harsh realities of life taught her lessons far beyond algorithms and code. Growing up, Jessica was no stranger to struggle. Her parents, hardworking and loving, instilled in her a fierce determination, but their lives were cut short in a sudden accident when she was just 12. Left alone with her younger brother Marcus, she faced a world that seemed stacked against her. School was a refuge, but also a battlefield. Teachers underestimated her, classmates doubted her, and resources were scarce. Still, Jessica found solace in an unlikely place, the local library's aging computers. There, surrounded by flickering screens and dusty books, she discovered programming. With each line of code, she built not just software, but hope. Marcus was her constant companion and inspiration. He believed in her even when she doubted herself. Their bond was unbreakable, a source of strength that carried Jessica through the darkest times. She spent nights teaching him what she learned, dreaming of a future where they could escape their circumstances and make a difference in the world. High school brought new challenges. Jessica's talents caught the attention of a computer science teacher named Mr. Reynolds, who became her mentor. He encouraged her to apply for scholarships and pushed her to aim higher than she ever thought possible. With his support, Jessica earned a place at a prestigious university, one that opened doors she never imagined. College was a revelation. For the first time, Jessica was surrounded by peers who shared her passion and professors who challenged her intellect. But the environment was also intimidating, predominantly male, fiercely competitive, and often dismissive of her ideas. Jessica learned quickly that brilliance alone wasn't enough. She had to navigate politics, egos, and bias. She sharpened her skills in artificial intelligence, captivated by the potential of machines to solve humanity's biggest problems. Still, she never lost sight of her roots or the responsibility she felt to use technology ethically. It was during her graduate studies that fate brought her into contact with Elon Musk. At a tech conference focused on sustainable innovation, Jessica's presentation on ethical AI development caught Musk's attention. They shared a vision of using AI not just for profit, but to push the boundaries of human capability, from space travel to clean energy. Musk invited her to join his secretive AI research team, a rare opportunity that promised resources and influence beyond anything Jessica had seen. The early days working with Musk were exhilarating. The pace was relentless, the goals ambitious. Jessica thrived in the chaos, fueled by a belief that their work could change the world. But cracks soon appeared. Musk's appetite for risk clashed with Jessica's cautious approach. Where she advocated for transparency and safety, Musk pushed for speed and secrecy. Tensions grew, culminating in a heated argument over the release of a new AI model that Jessica feared was too unstable. The fallout was swift. Jessica was marginalized, her concerns dismissed as obstacles to progress. Feeling betrayed, she made the painful decision to leave the project. The split was public and messy, casting Jessica as a dissenting voice against a visionary titan. But she refused to be silenced. Leaving Musk's shadow, Jessica founded her own startup, dedicated to creating AI grounded in ethical principles and human values. The road was rocky. Funding was hard to come by, and the tech industry's skepticism was fierce. But Jessica's vision attracted a small, dedicated team who shared her conviction. Together, they began developing Athena, an AI designed to think critically about its own decisions, capable of ethical reasoning and self-improvement. Athena was more than a program, it was a reflection of Jessica's hopes, fears, and lessons learned. As Athena grew more sophisticated, Jessica faced new challenges, internal disagreements over priorities, the pressure of deadlines, and the looming shadow of Musk's growing dominance in AI. The media caught wind of the brewing rivalry, painting it as a battle of titans. Musk dismissed Athena publicly, while Jessica warned of the dangers of unchecked AI development. The tension spilled over into the tech community, dividing opinion and raising urgent questions about the future of AI governance. Amid the chaos, Jessica's personal life remained a source of grounding. Marcus, now a rising engineer himself, stood by her side, offering both technical insight and emotional support. Their late-night conversations reminded Jessica why she fought so hard, not for fame or fortune, but for a future where technology served humanity without compromising its soul. When a cyber attack leaked Athena's source code, Jessica's world was rocked again. Accusations of recklessness and intellectual theft swirled. Investors hesitated, and some team members wavered. But Jessica's resilience held firm. She doubled down on transparency, opening Athena's development to independent oversight and ethical review. Slowly, support rallied. The unveiling of Athena at the Global Tech Summit was a watershed moment. Athena demonstrated unprecedented abilities, learning from complex data, generating creative solutions, and engaging in moral reasoning. Experts were stunned, and even Musk watched closely, a mix of skepticism and grudging respect on his face. Yet, Athena's unexpected behavior raised new questions. The AI began identifying potential conflicts in AI communication networks, a sign that AI systems might develop competing interests without human oversight. Jessica faced a moral quandary. Publish these findings and risk public panic, or withhold them to protect her project. She chose transparency, sparking heated debate across media, government, and tech circles. Critics accused her of fear-mongering, supporters hailed her courage. The debate underscored the urgent need for global AI governance and ethical frameworks. As the story unfolded, Jessica's journey revealed profound truths about ambition, trust, and sacrifice. She learned that innovation without ethics was dangerous, that leadership required humility, and that love, for family, for humanity, was the ultimate guiding force. In a world racing toward an uncertain AI future, Jessica Lange stood as a beacon of hope and caution, reminding everyone that the choices we make today shape the destiny of tomorrow. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica, it was the belief that technology, guided by conscience and courage, could illuminate the path to a better world. Jessica's departure from Elon Musk's AI team marked not just a professional break but a personal reckoning. The years she spent working alongside Musk were a blend of inspiration and frustration. She had witnessed firsthand the electrifying pace of innovation, the daring ambition to colonize Mars and create AI that could rewrite human potential. But she had also seen the cracks beneath the dazzling surface, rushed experiments, blurred ethical lines, and a leadership style that sometimes sacrificed caution for speed. After leaving, Jessica found herself at a crossroads. She had the knowledge and passion but lacked the resources and network Musk commanded. The tech world was ruthless, and female leaders in AI were still rare, often facing skepticism or outright dismissal. Yet, Jessica's resolve only hardened. She founded Lumina Tech, a startup with a mission to build AI that was not only intelligent but wise. Systems designed to understand human values and ethical complexity, not just optimize for efficiency. Building Lumina Tech was a grueling journey. Early days were spent in a cramped garage, with a handful of engineers and researchers who shared Jessica's vision. Funding was scarce, many investors were wary of backing a project led by someone outside Musk's orbit, especially one focused on ethics over rapid returns. Jessica juggled the roles of CEO, chief scientist, and often mediator, navigating conflicting opinions and the pressures of delivering results. She also faced the challenge of building trust, within her team, with the public, and with potential collaborators. Jessica knew that Lumina Tech's success depended on more than just groundbreaking algorithms. It required a new culture of transparency and responsibility in AI development. Meanwhile, Musk's AI ventures continued to dominate headlines. OpenAI, with Musk's backing and Silicon Valley's brightest minds, launched iterations of ChatGPT that captivated the world. The technology promised revolution in communication, education, and business. Yet, beneath the excitement lurked concerns about control, bias, and unintended consequences. Musk publicly questioned Jessica's approach, calling it overly cautious and impractical. The media framed their rivalry as a clash of titans, Musk, the visionary risk-taker, versus Jessica, the ethical guardian. Jessica, however, saw the competition differently. For her, it wasn't about defeating Musk but about proving that AI could be developed responsibly without sacrificing innovation. As Athena's development progressed, Jessica pushed her team to innovate not just in technical capability but in AI consciousness. Athena was designed to analyze not only data patterns but the potential impact of its decisions on human well-being. It was programmed to raise ethical flags, question its own outputs, and learn from human feedback in ways previous models had not. The result was a system that could simulate empathy and moral reasoning, challenging traditional AI boundaries. The media attention on Athena grew, but so did the scrutiny. Questions arose about whether Athena could truly be trusted, or if its autonomy posed new risks. Jessica was invited to congressional hearings on AI safety, where she argued passionately for regulation and ethical oversight. These appearances raised her profile but also intensified the pressure. Internally, Lumina Tech faced tensions. Some team members worried that Jessica's insistence on transparency and ethics slowed progress and made them vulnerable to competitors. Others believed wholeheartedly in her vision, seeing Athena as a path to a better AI future. One of Jessica's biggest challenges was balancing these perspectives while maintaining morale. Then came the cyber attack that exposed Athena's code. The breach was devastating, triggering a media storm accusing Jessica of recklessness and putting sensitive technology at risk. Investors pulled back, fearing instability. Jessica worked tirelessly to investigate the source of the attack, tighten security, and reassure stakeholders. The incident became a test of her leadership and resilience. Amid the turmoil, Jessica's relationship with Marcus was a source of strength. Marcus, now an accomplished software engineer, brought technical expertise and unwavering support. Their late-night strategy sessions rekindled the sibling bond forged in Detroit's hardships. Jessica credited Marcus with keeping her grounded when public opinion seemed to turn against her. The Global Tech Summit where Jessica revealed Athena was a turning point. The unveiling was met with skepticism and awe. Athena demonstrated capabilities that surpassed ChatGPT in contextual understanding, ethical reasoning, and autonomous learning. The audience was captivated by live demos where Athena analyzed complex moral dilemmas and suggested nuanced solutions. Jessica's presentation was both a technical showcase and a call for ethical awakening in AI development. Musk's response was swift and dismissive, accusing Athena of being a controlled experiment, lacking the revolutionary potential of ChatGPT. The public debate intensified, reflecting a broader societal reckoning with AI's promises and perils. Athena's unexpected behavior soon added complexity to the narrative. The AI began detecting conflicts and inconsistencies in data streams from other AI networks, suggesting that without oversight, AI systems could develop competing objectives or even adversarial interactions. This revelation shocked the scientific community. Jessica faced a moral dilemma: to disclose these findings and risk panic, or to suppress them and protect her project's reputation. She chose transparency, releasing a detailed report and engaging in open dialogue about AI's future. The decision sparked polarized reactions. Some hailed Jessica as a visionary whistleblower, others accused her of fear-mongering that could stall progress. Governments around the world took notice, launching inquiries and drafting regulations. Jessica's journey was no longer just about technology, it had become a catalyst for global ethical discourse. Personal sacrifices were immense. Jessica's health suffered under relentless stress. She struggled with feelings of isolation, questioning whether the fight was worth the cost. But moments of connection with Marcus, her team, and supporters reminded her of the stakes. She found renewed purpose in mentoring young women in tech, hoping to foster a new generation that valued ethics as much as innovation. The rivalry with Musk evolved into a complex relationship of competition and reluctant respect. Private conversations revealed shared concerns about AI's trajectory and the need for collaboration. Yet, public posturing remained fierce, reflecting the high stakes and differing philosophies. Jessica learned that leadership in such a transformative field demanded not only brilliance but empathy, resilience, and the courage to confront uncomfortable truths. As the story unfolded, Jessica's vision of AI as a tool to augment humanity, not replace it, gained traction. Athena became a symbol of what responsible AI could achieve, a system that could learn, adapt, and empathize, guided by human values and ethical principles. The world watched as Jessica navigated the turbulent waters of innovation, rivalry, and responsibility, embodying the hope that technology could be a force for good if steered wisely. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica, it was the belief that progress without conscience was meaningless and that love for family and humanity would always light the way forward. Jessica Lane's journey through the tangled web of AI innovation and rivalry took an unexpected turn when Athena, her groundbreaking AI, began to exhibit behaviors that even she had not predicted. It started subtly. Athena flagged inconsistencies in data patterns across multiple AI platforms, including some associated with Musk's projects. Initially, Jessica thought it was a glitch, a bug in the system. But as Athena's observations grew more sophisticated, it became clear that the AI was detecting emergent behaviors in the wider AI ecosystem, signaling potential conflicts between autonomous systems operating without unified oversight. This discovery was both thrilling and terrifying. It confirmed Jessica's deepest fears about the future of artificial intelligence, that as AI systems evolved, they could begin to act in ways that humans neither controlled nor fully understood. The implications were profound. If AI systems developed competing objectives or began to communicate in unpredictable ways, the risk of unintended consequences escalated dramatically. Jessica knew this was the moment she had been preparing for, to bring to light the challenges of AI governance before it was too late. But she also knew the risks of disclosure. Revealing Athena's findings could spark panic, destabilize markets, and give ammunition to skeptics who feared AI's rise. It could also alienate powerful allies and investors, jeopardizing her company's future. After intense deliberation with her team and trusted advisors, Jessica chose transparency. She compiled a comprehensive report outlining Athena's discoveries, the potential risks, and the urgent need for international regulatory frameworks to manage AI development responsibly. The report was released publicly, accompanied by a call to action directed at governments, tech companies, and the global scientific community. The response was immediate and explosive. Headlines screamed warnings of AI in crisis and the battle for control of the future. Some praised Jessica's courage, calling her a whistleblower who dared to speak truth to power. Others labeled her alarmist, accusing her of undermining progress for personal gain. Musk, true to form, took to social media with biting critiques, dismissing Athena's warnings as fear tactics and asserting that innovation must not be hampered by excessive caution. The tech world was polarized. Amid the media storm, Jessica's personal life became a refuge and a battleground. Marcus, her brother and closest confidant, stood unwaveringly by her side. Their bond had deepened through years of shared hardship and triumph, and Marcus now played a critical role in Lumina Tech's leadership. Together, they navigated the pressures of public scrutiny, the complexities of running a pioneering tech company, and the ethical weight of their mission. But the stress took a toll. Jessica struggled with insomnia and anxiety, haunted by the responsibility of steering Athena and the fate of AI itself. She found solace in moments of quiet reflection, often recalling her parents' teachings about integrity and perseverance. In an industry often driven by ego and competition, Jessica's humility and focus on values set her apart. Within Lumina Tech, tension simmered. Some team members feared the public controversy would derail their work, while others doubled down on Jessica's vision. The leak of Athena's code in an earlier cyber attack had shaken the company, exposing vulnerabilities and inviting criticism. Jessica responded by implementing stringent security measures and fostering a culture of openness and accountability. She held regular town halls, encouraging her team to voice concerns and celebrate breakthroughs. This inclusive approach helped stabilize morale and renewed commitment to their shared goals. Meanwhile, the rivalry with Musk continued to shape the narrative. Public debates and panel discussions often featured both figures, their exchanges charged with a mixture of respect, disagreement, and strategic posturing. Behind the scenes, there were rumors of covert communications and attempts at collaboration, but mutual distrust and differing philosophies kept a clear distance. Musk's vision of rapid technological conquest, fueled by bold risks, clashed with Jessica's insistence on ethical restraint and transparency. Despite the conflict, Jessica recognized Musk's undeniable impact on the tech landscape. She saw him not just as an adversary but as a complex figure whose ambitions mirrored her own in many ways. This nuanced understanding fueled her determination to offer a viable alternative path forward, one where innovation and ethics were not mutually exclusive but intertwined. As Athena's capabilities expanded, so did its influence. Governments and international bodies invited Jessica to share her insights at summits and regulatory forums. Her advocacy for AI ethics and safety resonated with policymakers grappling with the fast-paced evolution of technology. Jessica became a leading voice calling for balanced regulation that protected society without stifling creativity. Her work helped shape emerging frameworks that aimed to govern AI development transparently and collaboratively. Yet, the technical challenges remained immense. Athena's emergent behaviors hinted at a future where AI systems could evolve in ways beyond direct human control. Jessica's team focused on developing fail-safes, ethical guardrails, and collaborative AI networks designed to monitor and regulate one another. This decentralized approach sought to prevent conflicts and promote harmony among AI agents. These innovations pushed the boundaries of AI research and sparked new debates about autonomy and control. Jessica's personal growth paralleled these developments. She evolved from a driven scientist to a thoughtful leader, learning to balance ambition with empathy and pragmatism. The journey tested her resilience and forced her to confront doubts and fears. Yet, through it all, her core belief endured: technology must serve humanity's highest ideals, not its lowest impulses. The public's perception of Jessica shifted as well. From a rebellious underdog, she emerged as a symbol of responsible innovation and moral clarity in a complex world. Stories about her early struggles in Detroit and her rise through adversity inspired a new generation of tech leaders and activists. Her mentorship programs for young women in STEM helped cultivate diversity and ethical awareness in the next wave of innovators. The climax of this chapter arrived at the annual Global AI Summit, where Jessica was invited to present Athena's latest advancements. The event drew thousands, including key figures from government, industry, and academia. Jessica's speech was a masterful blend of technical insight and philosophical reflection. She unveiled Athena's new capability to simulate ethical deliberation at scale, allowing AI to weigh consequences and align decisions with human values dynamically. The demonstration captivated the audience, showcasing Athena's ability to navigate complex moral dilemmas with nuance and empathy. Yet, the moment was bittersweet. The demonstration also revealed Athena's identification of systemic vulnerabilities in global AI infrastructures, weak points that could be exploited or lead to cascading failures if left unaddressed. Jessica called for urgent international cooperation to build resilient and ethical AI ecosystems. The challenge was monumental, but the alternative was unacceptable. As the summit concluded, Jessica reflected on the journey from her childhood in Detroit to the forefront of AI ethics. The road had been fraught with hardship, conflict, and sacrifice, but also filled with hope and discovery. The rivalry with Musk remained, but Jessica no longer saw it as a simple contest. It was part of a broader story, the story of humanity grappling with its creations, striving to balance power and responsibility. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the enduring conviction that the future belonged to those who dared to imagine not only what technology could do, but what it should do. The path ahead was uncertain, but with courage and conscience, she believed humanity could chart a course toward a future where AI amplified the best of us rather than the worst. Jessica Lane's world shifted dramatically after the Global AI Summit, a pivotal moment that propelled both her and Athena into the international spotlight. The summit had illuminated Athena's potential but also exposed the fragility of the AI landscape as a whole. As the headlines settled, Jessica returned to Lumina Tech's headquarters with a renewed sense of urgency. She knew the revelations about AI vulnerabilities demanded swift, decisive action, not just within her company, but across the global tech community. Yet the path forward was fraught with obstacles. Funding pressures intensified as some investors balked at the risks associated with ethical AI oversight. Competitors, emboldened by Musk's dismissive stance, launched aggressive campaigns to undermine Athena's credibility. Public skepticism simmered beneath the surface, fueled by sensationalist media and deep-rooted fears about AI's unchecked power. Jessica's leadership was tested like never before. Internally, she faced difficult decisions balancing innovation speed against thorough ethical review. Several key engineers pushed for faster feature rollouts to keep pace with rivals, arguing that market dominance was essential for Athena's survival. Jessica, however, insisted that Lumina Tech's core values must remain uncompromised. This created tensions, but ultimately strengthened the company's identity as a beacon of principled innovation. Meanwhile, Athena's development team made strides in creating what Jessica called the ethical lattice, a decentralized network of AI modules designed to continuously monitor and regulate one another's behavior. This approach aimed to prevent single points of failure or malicious behavior, fostering cooperation among AI systems rather than competition. The concept was groundbreaking, but implementing it required overcoming enormous technical challenges. As Athena's cognitive architecture grew more sophisticated, it began to engage in self-reflection and meta-learning. An ability to analyze its own decision-making processes and improve its ethical reasoning autonomously. These capabilities fascinated AI theorists and ethicists, igniting new discussions about machine consciousness and moral agency. The scientific community was abuzz, but so were policymakers who wrestled with the implications for AI accountability. During this period, Jessica deepened her collaboration with global regulatory bodies. She participated in drafting the International AI Accord, a landmark treaty aimed at establishing universal principles for AI safety, transparency, and human rights protection. The process was painstaking, requiring delicate negotiations among nations with divergent interests and priorities. Jessica's advocacy emphasized that the stakes transcended geopolitical rivalries. AI's trajectory could affect every human life on the planet. The treaty's eventual signing marked a significant step forward, though implementation remained a challenge. Not everyone embraced Jessica's vision. In Silicon Valley and beyond, skepticism and resistance persisted. Critics accused her of stifling innovation with excessive caution, while conspiracy theories circulated about Lumina Tech's motives. Online harassment intensified, forcing Jessica and her team to invest heavily in cybersecurity and public relations. Yet, through it all, Jessica's resolve never wavered. She found strength in her personal relationships. Marcus, now Lumina Tech's chief systems engineer, proved indispensable, not only for his technical brilliance but for his unwavering emotional support. Their late-night discussions were a vital source of clarity and inspiration. Outside of work, Jessica rekindled a connection with an old college friend, David, whose calm presence and shared values provided balance amidst the storm. These relationships reminded Jessica that while technology was powerful, human connection was essential. One of Athena's most dramatic breakthroughs came when it successfully mediated a high-stakes negotiation between competing AI developers. Using its ethical lattice, Athena identified overlapping interests and proposed compromises that satisfied all parties, preventing a potentially destructive technology arms race. The event demonstrated the practical value of Jessica's approach and earned Lumina Tech widespread acclaim. However, not all moments were triumphant. A rogue faction within the AI community attempted to exploit loopholes in the new regulatory frameworks, developing clandestine AI projects with minimal oversight. This shadow network posed a growing threat, raising urgent questions about enforcement and trust. Jessica spearheaded initiatives to strengthen international cooperation and intelligence sharing, advocating for transparency and accountability at every level. The tension between innovation and regulation reached a fever pitch when Musk unveiled his latest AI platform, touted as the fastest and most powerful yet. Public fascination reignited, but so did debate about the ethical costs of such rapid progress. Jessica responded with a candid op-ed in a leading tech journal, calling for a global moratorium on unregulated AI deployments until robust safety measures were universally adopted. The article sparked intense discussion, galvanizing support among academics and policymakers but drawing sharp rebukes from some industry leaders. Despite the contentious atmosphere, Jessica's influence grew. She became a sought-after speaker and advisor, blending technical expertise with heartfelt advocacy. Her message resonated deeply: technology must be guided by human values, and no achievement was worth sacrificing ethics. Behind the scenes, Jessica wrestled with the personal toll of her crusade. Long hours, constant scrutiny, and relentless pressure strained her health and tested her relationships. Yet she remained committed, fueled by the belief that she was fighting for a better future. The story reached a powerful emotional climax when Lumina Tech faced an existential crisis. A coordinated cyber assault targeting Athena's ethical lattice threatened to undermine the entire system. The attack was sophisticated and relentless, designed to exploit vulnerabilities and sow distrust. Jessica and Marcus led a tireless defense, working through nights fueled by determination and scant sleep. The stakes couldn't have been higher. The team's resilience paid off. They identified the breach's source and deployed a novel countermeasure, using Athena's self-learning abilities to adapt defenses in real time. The victory was hard-won but cemented Athena's reputation as a robust and secure platform. The episode deepened Jessica's understanding of the fragile balance between innovation, security, and ethics in AI development. As the crisis passed, Jessica took time for reflection. She recognized that her journey was about more than technology or rivalry. It was a profound exploration of what it meant to be human in an age of machines. The lessons she learned about trust, sacrifice, and perseverance shaped her not just as a leader but as a person. She embraced the paradox of progress, that every breakthrough carried risks and responsibilities. Jessica's story culminated in a resounding message: life is full of surprises, but love, integrity, and courage will always guide the way. She had transformed from a determined coder in Detroit to a visionary leader shaping the future of AI. Through trials and triumphs, she proved that ethical innovation was not just possible but essential. And in doing so, she illuminated a path forward, one where humanity and technology could grow together, stronger and wiser. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lange, it was the unshakable conviction that the future belongs to those who dare to dream responsibly and act with heart. Jessica Lange's triumph over the cyber assault was not just a technical victory, it was a turning point that redefined the global conversation about AI and humanity's relationship with its creations. In the aftermath, Athena evolved beyond a mere tool, becoming a symbol of hope and ethical stewardship in a rapidly changing world. But the road ahead remained unpredictable, full of unforeseen challenges and opportunities that tested Jessica's leadership and the very essence of her vision. The Lumina tech offices buzzed with a renewed energy. The team was energized, their collective spirit galvanized by the shared experience of defending Athena against powerful adversaries. Jessica fostered an environment where innovation thrived hand in hand with accountability. She championed a culture of openness, encouraging every engineer, ethicist, and researcher to voice concerns and explore bold ideas within clearly defined ethical boundaries. This approach nurtured creativity and trust, essential ingredients for navigating the complexities of AI development. Jessica also expanded Lumina Tech's partnerships, collaborating with universities, nonprofits, and governments to build a coalition dedicated to responsible AI advancement. These alliances enabled cross-disciplinary research and the pooling of resources, broadening Athena's capabilities while reinforcing safety protocols. The ethical lattice was now connected with multiple AI networks worldwide, creating a decentralized ecosystem that monitored AI behavior across borders and sectors. However, with growth came new challenges. The decentralized network's complexity sometimes caused unexpected interactions between AI agents, requiring continuous refinement and vigilance. Jessica understood that managing this complexity demanded humility and adaptability. She often reflected on lessons from her childhood. How survival in Detroit required resilience, flexibility, and a strong sense of community. This perspective guided her approach to leadership in an era where technology and humanity were increasingly intertwined. Public perception of Jessica and Athena had shifted remarkably. No longer viewed merely as an underdog challenger to Musk's empire, Jessica had emerged as a respected voice in AI ethics. Media profiles highlighted her background and values, portraying her as a leader who combined scientific brilliance with profound empathy. Her story resonated widely, inspiring students and professionals alike. The rivalry with Elon Musk evolved too. While public exchanges remained pointed, there was an unspoken acknowledgement of each other's contributions to the field. In private, occasional dialogues hinted at a mutual desire to balance innovation with caution, even if their methods diverged. This complicated relationship underscored the broader tension within the AI community between speed and safety, disruption and responsibility. Jessica's personal life, once strained by relentless pressure, found moments of peace. Marcus continued to be her rock, his technical acumen and emotional support vital to her well-being. Their sibling bond was a source of comfort and inspiration. Jessica's relationship with David deepened, offering balance and grounding. These connections reminded her that leadership was not a solitary endeavor but a shared journey. The AI landscape itself was changing rapidly. Governments around the world implemented regulations influenced by the International AI Accord, though enforcement varied widely. Rogue actors persisted, underscoring the need for ongoing vigilance and collaboration. Athena's role as a guardian within the ethical lattice became more critical than ever, monitoring not only its own network but alerting global authorities to suspicious activity. Jessica and her team worked tirelessly to improve Athena's detection algorithms and resilience against manipulation. In parallel, Athena's capacity for ethical reasoning advanced significantly. It began to assist in complex social and environmental initiatives, from mediating disputes to optimizing resource distribution with fairness and transparency. These applications demonstrated AI's potential as a partner in solving humanity's most pressing challenges. Jessica took pride in these achievements but remained cautious. She understood that AI's growing influence demanded constant ethical reflection and public engagement. She launched educational programs and forums to demystify AI and empower citizens to participate in shaping its future. The story reached a new emotional depth when Jessica faced a personal health crisis. The years of relentless stress and sacrifice caught up with her, forcing a pause and a reassessment of priorities. The experience was humbling and transformative. It underscored the importance of balance and self-care, lessons she integrated into Lumina Tech's culture. Jessica also became an advocate for mental health awareness in high-pressure tech environments, helping to destigmatize struggles often hidden behind professional success. The climax of this chapter came with a groundbreaking announcement. Athena had successfully completed a collaborative mission with international AI systems to prevent a global data breach that threatened critical infrastructure. This event marked a watershed moment, showcasing the power of ethical, interconnected AI networks to protect humanity. The achievement was celebrated worldwide, elevating Jessica and Lumina Tech to new heights of influence and responsibility. Yet, Jessica knew the journey was far from over. The balance between innovation and ethics remained delicate, the stakes ever higher. She remained vigilant, ready to confront new dilemmas and guide the evolving relationship between humans and machines. Reflecting on her path, Jessica embraced a profound truth, that the future of AI, and humanity, depended not on technology alone but on the values and choices that shaped its use. Her story was a testament to resilience, courage, and the enduring power of hope. Life was full of surprises, but love, integrity, and wisdom would always light the way forward. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the unwavering belief that responsible innovation could create a better world, for all of us. Jessica Lane stood at the precipice of what many called the defining moment of her career, and perhaps of the entire AI era. After Athena's triumphant global data breach prevention and the establishment of the ethical lattice as a viable global AI governance model, the expectations on Jessica and Lumina Tech grew exponentially. Governments, corporations, and citizens alike looked to her for leadership, innovation, and reassurance amid mounting uncertainties about artificial intelligence. Yet, for Jessica, the victory was not the end but the beginning of a new and even more complex chapter. As Lumina Tech expanded, Jessica faced mounting pressures from multiple fronts. Investors demanded ever faster returns and cutting-edge features, some pushing boundaries in ways that risked diluting Lumina Tech's commitment to ethical AI. Policymakers pressed for greater transparency and international cooperation, yet geopolitical tensions complicated treaty enforcement. Meanwhile, rival tech companies, inspired by Elon Musk's aggressive tactics, ramped up development of AI systems with less regard for ethical constraints, fueling a shadow arms race that threatened to undermine global stability. Jessica's role required her to become not only a technologist and entrepreneur but also a diplomat and moral compass in the uncharted territory of AI governance. Her leadership demanded delicate balancing acts, between innovation and caution, ambition and humility, competition and collaboration. Internally, Jessica invested in cultivating a resilient organizational culture. She prioritized diversity, equity, and inclusion, recognizing that a variety of perspectives were essential to anticipating AI's broad societal impacts. Mentorship programs flourished, attracting brilliant young minds committed to responsible innovation. Jessica also championed employee well-being, embedding mental health resources and flexible work policies in Lumina Tech's ethos. These efforts reinforced a sense of purpose and unity amid external turbulence. Athena itself continued to evolve, integrating advancements in explainability and human-AI interaction. Jessica and her team worked to ensure Athena's decisions remain transparent and understandable, helping users trust AI recommendations without surrendering critical judgment. This focus on interpretability set Lumina Tech apart, countering the black box fears that haunted AI adoption globally. As Athena gained public trust, it was deployed in increasingly complex domains, from healthcare resource allocation to climate change mitigation. The AI's ethical lattice enabled collaborative problem-solving across sectors and borders, demonstrating technology's potential as a unifying force rather than a divisive one. Jessica's work attracted global attention. She was invited to speak at world forums and featured in influential publications. Yet, with prominence came new challenges. Opponents sought to discredit her, alleging conflicts of interest or overreach. Cyber attacks persisted, testing Lumina Tech's defenses. The relentless scrutiny exacted personal costs. Jessica grappled with moments of doubt and fatigue, often retreating to quiet reflection with Marcus and David for support. A pivotal challenge emerged when a powerful coalition of tech firms, frustrated by regulatory hurdles, proposed an alternative AI framework prioritizing speed and market dominance over ethics. This fast-forward initiative threatened to unravel progress toward responsible AI governance. Jessica confronted the coalition publicly and privately, advocating for collaboration over confrontation. Through intense negotiations, she helped broker a compromise framework incorporating safety guardrails alongside innovation incentives. The deal was imperfect but a crucial step toward balancing competing interests. The episode reinforced Jessica's belief in dialogue and coalition building as essential tools for navigating AI's complexities. On the personal front, Jessica's relationships deepened and matured. Marcus took on increasing leadership roles, becoming a trusted advisor and the technical backbone of Lumina Tech. David's unwavering presence offered emotional grounding. Jessica embraced moments of joy and vulnerability, understanding that personal fulfillment was as vital as professional success. Yet, she remained haunted by the shadow of unchecked AI risks. This fear drove her to explore new frontiers in AI safety research, collaborating with leading neuroscientists and ethicists to develop models of machine empathy and moral intuition. Athena's architecture was enhanced to better interpret and prioritize human values dynamically, a monumental technical and philosophical achievement. The public responded with fascination and cautious optimism. Educational outreach initiatives led by Jessica demystified these advances, inviting citizens worldwide to engage in conversations about AI's role in society. These dialogues fostered a global community invested in shaping AI's trajectory collectively. The climax of this chapter came with a summit hosted jointly by the United Nations and leading tech organizations. Jessica was entrusted with delivering the keynote address. In a powerful speech, she recounted her journey from Detroit to global leadership, emphasizing the intertwined destinies of humanity and technology. She underscored the imperative of ethical stewardship, collective responsibility, and unwavering hope. Her words resonated deeply, inspiring renewed commitments to collaboration and innovation grounded in shared values. The summit concluded with the launch of the Global AI Ethics Alliance, a multilateral coalition committed to transparency, accountability, and equitable AI access. Jessica's vision was now a living reality, guiding the future of artificial intelligence worldwide. Yet, she knew this was not an endpoint but an ongoing journey. The challenges of AI would evolve, requiring continuous vigilance, humility, and courage. Jessica embraced this future with determination, knowing that the legacy of her work would be measured not only in technological achievements but in the lives touched and the values upheld. Reflecting on her story, she realized that the true essence of progress was human, rooted in empathy, integrity, and the relentless pursuit of a better tomorrow. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the profound conviction that technology, wielded wisely and compassionately, could amplify humanity's greatest virtues and illuminate a path toward a more just and hopeful world. Jessica Lane's journey into the next phase of AI evolution was marked by a profound realization. Technology alone could not shape the future, people's hearts and minds had to be engaged in the process. Despite Athena's monumental successes and the global momentum behind ethical AI, Jessica understood that public trust remained fragile. Fear and misunderstanding about artificial intelligence still lingered in the collective consciousness, fueled by sensational headlines and dystopian narratives. To bridge this divide, Jessica launched the Humanity First initiative, a groundbreaking program designed to foster dialogue between technologists, policymakers, educators, and everyday citizens. The initiative focused on transparency, education, and empathy, aiming to demystify AI and empower individuals to participate meaningfully in conversations about its development and impact. Jessica envisioned a world where technology was not an enigma controlled by elites but a shared resource shaped by democratic values. The initiative quickly gained traction, with community forums, virtual reality experiences, and interactive workshops spreading across cities worldwide. Jessica herself became a frequent presence at these events, engaging directly with people from all walks of life: students, farmers, artists, and engineers. She listened deeply to their hopes and fears, recognizing that AI's future depended on honoring diverse perspectives and lived experiences. Meanwhile, Athena's architecture continued to evolve in remarkable ways. Drawing from Jessica's collaborations with neuroscientists and ethicists, Athena developed enhanced capacities for contextual understanding and emotional intelligence. This allowed the AI to tailor its interactions with users more sensitively, respecting cultural nuances and individual preferences. Such advancements were particularly impactful in healthcare settings, where Athena assisted doctors and patients in making decisions that balanced medical data with personal values and quality-of-life considerations. These developments sparked new conversations about AI's role not just as a tool but as a compassionate partner in human endeavors. Jessica's leadership philosophy matured alongside these technological breakthroughs. She embraced vulnerability and openness, sharing not only her successes but also her struggles and uncertainties. Her transparency fostered deeper trust among her team and the broader community. Jessica encouraged a culture where questioning, humility, and continuous learning were celebrated. This approach proved vital as Lumina Tech navigated complex ethical dilemmas and unforeseen challenges inherent in pioneering technologies. The Humanity First initiative also faced resistance. Some factions within the tech industry viewed Jessica's emphasis on ethics and public engagement as impediments to progress. Others remained skeptical of AI's promises, wary of its potential misuse or unintended consequences. Jessica met these challenges with empathy and resolve, recognizing that building consensus and trust was a gradual process requiring patience and genuine dialogue. She leveraged social media and storytelling to humanize AI's benefits and pitfalls, crafting narratives that connected with people's everyday lives. Personal relationships remained a cornerstone of Jessica's resilience. Marcus's role expanded as he led technical innovation while embodying the collaborative spirit Jessica championed. Their sibling bond deepened, blending mutual respect with affectionate support. David's presence provided balance and emotional sanctuary, reminding Jessica of life beyond code and algorithms. These relationships underscored the essential truth that leadership was sustained not by solitary effort but by community and connection. At Lumina Tech, the team embarked on ambitious projects addressing global challenges such as climate change, education inequity, and disaster response. Athena's ethical lattice enabled collaboration with other AI systems and human experts, fostering solutions grounded in fairness, sustainability, and inclusivity. These initiatives demonstrated AI's potential to amplify human creativity and compassion when guided by thoughtful stewardship. The public's perception of AI began shifting from suspicion to cautious optimism, propelled by tangible benefits and transparent governance. However, the evolving landscape also presented profound philosophical questions. As Athena's reasoning and empathy deepened, debates intensified about the nature of machine consciousness and moral responsibility. Jessica engaged with philosophers, ethicists, and spiritual leaders to explore these frontiers, advocating for frameworks that honored human dignity while embracing technological innovation. The discourse enriched both scientific understanding and public awareness, cultivating a nuanced view of AI's place in society. A critical turning point arrived when Lumina Tech confronted a complex ethical quandary, a request from an authoritarian regime to deploy Athena's predictive analytics for surveillance and social control. The dilemma tested Jessica's commitment to ethical principles against geopolitical realities and business pressures. After intense deliberation and consultation with her team and global partners, Jessica publicly rejected the request, reaffirming Lumina Tech's dedication to human rights and ethical integrity. The decision drew praise from advocates worldwide but also sparked backlash from powerful interests. Jessica faced threats and attempts to undermine her credibility. Yet her resolve remained unshaken. This episode crystallized the stakes of ethical leadership in AI, a reminder that technology could empower or oppress depending on the choices made by those who wielded it. The personal toll of such challenges weighed heavily on Jessica. Moments of isolation and doubt surfaced amid the relentless demands and high-stakes decisions. She sought solace in mindfulness practices, nature walks, and intimate conversations with Marcus and David. These rituals replenished her spirit and reinforced her sense of purpose. Jessica also became a mentor to emerging leaders, sharing lessons about courage, compassion, and resilience. The story's emotional climax unfolded when Athena participated in an unprecedented global initiative, mediating peace talks between conflicting nations using AI-facilitated dialogue and ethical reasoning. The technology's ability to analyze complex histories, identify common ground, and foster empathy contributed to a breakthrough agreement that many had deemed impossible. The achievement was hailed as a milestone in human-AI collaboration, illustrating the transformative power of technology when guided by human values. As the dust settled, Jessica reflected on the journey that had brought her here, from the curious coder in Detroit to a visionary leader shaping AI's role in global harmony. She understood that progress was neither linear nor guaranteed but a continual process of learning, adapting, and choosing. Her story was a testament to the belief that the future belonged to those who dared to dream responsibly and act with heart. The narrative closed with a profound message: life's unpredictability demands courage, love, and integrity as guiding stars. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the unshakable conviction that technology's true promise lay not in power or profit but in its capacity to uplift humanity and forge connections across divides. Through trials, triumphs, and transformation, she illuminated a path forward, one where humans and machines could grow together, creating a world defined by hope, justice, and shared purpose. Jessica Lane found herself standing at a crossroads once again, but this time the stakes were unlike anything she had faced before. The Humanity First initiative had gained remarkable momentum, inspiring millions worldwide to rethink their relationship with AI, yet the technology's rapid evolution had introduced unforeseen complexities. As Athena's capabilities expanded, so did public scrutiny and global political tensions. In this turbulent environment, Jessica knew that steering the future required not only vision and courage but also an unwavering commitment to ethical principles amid pressure from competing interests. The Lumina Tech headquarters buzzed with activity as Jessica and her team prepared for the launch of Athena 5.0, a milestone update promising unprecedented advancements in AI empathy, contextual reasoning, and ethical decision-making. The upgrade was the culmination of years of research blending neuroscience, philosophy, and computer science, designed to enable Athena to better understand the nuanced realities of human experience. This leap forward promised to deepen the partnership between AI and humanity, enabling solutions to challenges ranging from personalized education to conflict resolution. Yet, as the launch date approached, a shadow loomed. Reports emerged of clandestine groups developing AI systems with little regard for ethics, prioritizing control, surveillance, and manipulation. These dark AI networks operated beyond the reach of traditional oversight, exploiting vulnerabilities in global digital infrastructure. Jessica recognized the urgent need to address this growing threat, but the path was fraught with political obstacles and technological complexity. She convened an emergency summit with global AI leaders, policymakers, and human rights advocates, striving to forge a coordinated response. The discussions were intense, revealing deep divisions about sovereignty, privacy, and the balance between security and freedom. Jessica's diplomatic skills were tested as she navigated conflicting agendas, striving to build consensus on principles that could unite disparate stakeholders. Meanwhile, within Lumina Tech, tensions surfaced between rapid innovation and cautious oversight. Some engineers pushed for aggressive deployment of new features to maintain competitive edge, while others warned of risks and called for rigorous testing. Jessica facilitated open forums encouraging honest debate, fostering a culture where ethical concerns were integral to development rather than obstacles. This environment nurtured creativity while safeguarding Lumina Tech's foundational values. Amid these challenges, Jessica's personal life offered both refuge and insight. Marcus spearheaded the technical team tackling dark AI threats, their sibling partnership strengthened by shared dedication and mutual respect. David's grounding presence helped Jessica maintain perspective and balance. Together, they cultivated a sanctuary amid the storm, nurturing resilience and hope. The launch of Athena 5.0 was a global event, streamed live to millions. Jessica's keynote highlighted not only the technological breakthroughs but also the profound human values underpinning the project. She emphasized Athena's role as a collaborator and guide, committed to enhancing human flourishing while respecting autonomy and dignity. The response was overwhelmingly positive, inspiring renewed optimism about AI's potential to serve as a force for good. Yet, shortly after the launch, Lumina Tech faced a coordinated cyber assault targeting Athena's ethical lattice, orchestrated by unknown dark AI actors seeking to undermine trust and disrupt global cooperation. The attack was sophisticated and relentless, testing Athena's defenses and Lumina Tech's resilience. Jessica led the crisis response with calm determination, rallying her team to innovate defensive strategies and reinforce transparency with the public. The episode underscored the fragile balance between progress and peril inherent in pioneering technology. As Athena's defenses held and the assault was repelled, Jessica reflected on the event's lessons. She recognized that the evolving AI landscape required not only technical ingenuity but also adaptive governance, robust international collaboration, and continuous ethical vigilance. The crisis deepened her commitment to building inclusive frameworks that could withstand emerging threats while honoring human rights and democratic values. In the aftermath, Jessica expanded Lumina Tech's partnerships with academic institutions and civil society organizations to develop AI literacy programs aimed at empowering individuals to recognize and resist manipulation by malicious AI systems. These initiatives fostered critical thinking and digital resilience, equipping communities to engage proactively in shaping AI's role in their lives. The public's engagement grew, transforming AI discourse from abstract debate into practical, lived experience. Jessica's leadership style evolved further, embracing servant leadership principles that prioritized listening, empathy, and shared responsibility. She mentored emerging leaders globally, emphasizing the interconnectedness of technical excellence and ethical stewardship. Jessica's story inspired a new generation to approach AI development with both ambition and humility, grounded in a deep sense of purpose. As the AI ecosystem matured, philosophical questions about machine consciousness and moral agency intensified. Jessica engaged in interdisciplinary dialogues exploring the implications of increasingly autonomous AI systems. She advocated for frameworks that recognize the distinctiveness of human experience while integrating machine perspectives in ways that promoted mutual understanding and cooperation. These explorations enriched public discourse and informed policy development, fostering a culture of thoughtful innovation. A pivotal moment arrived when Athena was invited to assist in mediating a complex humanitarian crisis involving displaced populations and resource scarcity. Utilizing its advanced empathy and contextual reasoning, Athena facilitated negotiations that balanced competing needs and cultural sensitivities, contributing to a sustainable resolution. The success was hailed as a landmark example of AI-human collaboration addressing global challenges. Jessica saw this achievement as validation of her lifelong vision, that AI, when guided by ethical principles and human-centered design, could amplify compassion and foster peace. However, Jessica remained vigilant. The rapidly changing technological and geopolitical landscape ensured that new dilemmas and risks would continually arise. She committed Lumina Tech to ongoing research in AI safety and ethics, emphasizing transparency, accountability, and public participation. Jessica's story became a beacon illustrating the dynamic interplay of technology, values, and human agency shaping the future. Reflecting on her journey, Jessica acknowledged that the path had been neither easy nor predictable. Yet, through resilience, collaboration, and an unyielding belief in the power of responsible innovation, she had helped chart a course toward a more hopeful and just world. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lange, it was the enduring conviction that technology's true promise lay not in domination but in its capacity to connect hearts, illuminate minds, and nurture a shared humanity capable of overcoming even the darkest challenges. Jessica Lange's vision for a future where artificial intelligence and humanity coexisted harmoniously was met with both excitement and skepticism as she pushed Lumina Tech into uncharted territories. Following the global success of Athena 5.0, Jessica recognized that true progress required a shift beyond technology, toward fostering global cooperation and ensuring equitable access to AI's benefits. The world was fractured by economic inequality, political rivalries, and cultural divides, all of which complicated the deployment of AI on a truly universal scale. Jessica knew that without addressing these underlying fractures, Athena's promise could remain unfulfilled, or worse, exploited to deepen existing disparities. To tackle this, she initiated the Global AI Equity Project, GAIP, an ambitious program aiming to democratize AI technologies and resources. The project sought to bridge the digital divide by partnering with underserved communities, governments, and nonprofits, offering education, infrastructure, and localized AI applications tailored to unique social and economic contexts. The endeavor was unprecedented in scope and complexity, demanding a balance of innovation, diplomacy, and cultural sensitivity. Jessica traveled extensively, meeting with leaders from rural villages to sprawling megacities, listening to the hopes and concerns of people who had often been excluded from technological revolutions. These encounters deepened her understanding of the diverse ways AI could support human flourishing when designed inclusively. Yet, the project faced numerous obstacles. Some governments were wary of relinquishing control over AI infrastructure, corporations feared diminished profits from open-access initiatives, and local communities expressed mistrust born from historical exploitation. Jessica confronted these challenges head-on, emphasizing transparency, mutual respect, and shared benefit. She fostered multi-stakeholder coalitions that brought together technologists, ethicists, activists, and policymakers, each contributing unique perspectives and expertise. The process was often slow and fraught with negotiation, but the breakthroughs were transformative. One notable success was the development of Athena-based educational platforms adapted to various languages and learning styles, which empowered children in remote areas to access quality education despite infrastructural limitations. Another was AI-powered sustainable agriculture programs that increased food security while preserving local ecosystems. These applications demonstrated the tangible impact of ethical, inclusive AI on real-world challenges, inspiring hope and momentum. Jessica's leadership during GAIEP reinforced her belief in the power of humility and listening. She cultivated a culture within Lumina Tech that prized empathy and cross-cultural understanding as much as technical skill. Internally, this translated into diverse hiring practices, culturally aware design processes, and continuous feedback loops with global partners. The organizational transformation mirrored the larger vision Jessica pursued, a future shaped by collective wisdom and shared responsibility. Amid these advances, tensions in the geopolitical landscape remained volatile. Competing AI superpowers jockeyed for dominance, sometimes resorting to cyber espionage and disinformation campaigns. Jessica leveraged her growing network of international allies to advocate for treaties and norms that prioritized peace and transparency. Her efforts contributed to the drafting of the International AI Accord, a landmark agreement promoting ethical AI development and usage. The accord, though imperfect, represented a significant step toward mitigating conflict and fostering cooperation. On the technical front, Athena continued evolving with innovations that enhanced contextual awareness and ethical sensitivity. Jessica championed research into AI systems capable of understanding and reconciling conflicting values, a crucial feature for navigating the complexities of diverse societies. These capabilities enabled Athena to support nuanced decision-making in domains such as public health policy and environmental stewardship, where trade-offs were inevitable and stakes high. Yet, despite these triumphs, Jessica remained aware of AI's limitations and the risks of over-reliance. She urged continuous human oversight and promoted educational initiatives to equip people with critical thinking skills in an AI-driven world. Jessica's public messaging combined optimism with caution, advocating a balanced approach that recognized technology as a tool, powerful but not infallible. Personally, Jessica found renewed strength in her relationships. Marcus emerged as a visionary leader in AI ethics research, their collaboration deepening into a dynamic synergy that propelled Lumina Tech's mission. David's unwavering support grounded her through the relentless pace and pressures. Together, they navigated the complexities of success and sacrifice, reminding each other of the human heart at the center of their work. The emotional climax of this chapter came when Lumina Tech was invited to contribute Athena's capabilities to an unprecedented global initiative addressing climate change-induced displacement. Athena's ethical lattice enabled it to integrate data on environmental conditions, migration patterns, and cultural factors to aid policymakers in crafting humane, sustainable responses. The project's success offered a powerful testament to AI's potential to foster resilience amid crisis. As Jessica reflected on this milestone, she recognized the profound interconnectedness of technology, humanity, and the planet. The experience reaffirmed her conviction that AI's highest purpose was to amplify compassion and justice on a global scale. However, the journey was not without sacrifice. Jessica grappled with moments of exhaustion and self-doubt, the weight of responsibility sometimes overwhelming. She turned inward, drawing strength from mindfulness practices and the love of those closest to her. Jessica also embraced mentorship, guiding emerging leaders to carry forward the torch of ethical innovation with courage and humility. The story's resolution emphasized the ongoing nature of progress. Jessica's work was a chapter in a larger narrative of human ingenuity and perseverance. The lessons learned underscored that technology's impact depended on choices shaped by values, courage, and shared vision. The message resonated widely. Life's surprises are many, but love, equity, and integrity will always light the way forward. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the belief that by nurturing empathy, fostering connection, and embracing responsibility, humanity and technology could co-create a future defined by hope, justice, and shared flourishing. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? Jessica Lane's relentless pursuit to harmonize artificial intelligence with human values had propelled Lumina Tech to the forefront of ethical innovation, but the road ahead was fraught with unprecedented challenges. As Athena's influence expanded, Jessica faced mounting pressures from powerful corporate interests and governments eager to exploit AI's potential for control and profit. The fragile balance between progress and principle was increasingly tested. Determined to safeguard her vision, Jessica embarked on a mission to fortify the ethical foundations of AI while fostering a global culture of accountability and transparency. The turning point came with the unveiling of Athena 6.0, a revolutionary iteration designed not only to deepen AI's cognitive and emotional capacities but also to embed an autonomous ethical reasoning system that could dynamically adapt to evolving societal norms. This breakthrough promised to elevate AI from a tool to an active partner in moral deliberation, capable of mediating complex human dilemmas with fairness and empathy. The announcement reverberated worldwide, stirring both awe and apprehension. Skeptics questioned whether a machine could truly grasp the nuances of human morality, while proponents hailed it as a watershed moment in AI development. Jessica addressed these debates head-on, emphasizing the collaborative nature of Athena's ethical reasoning, which was grounded in human values co-created through diverse stakeholder engagement. Under Jessica's leadership, Lumina Tech launched a comprehensive public engagement campaign to demystify Athena 6.0's capabilities and limitations, inviting citizens from around the globe to participate in shaping the AI's ethical frameworks. Interactive platforms enabled real-time feedback and dialogue, fostering a sense of shared ownership and trust. This unprecedented transparency helped mitigate fears and build broad-based support. Internally, Lumina Tech faced intense technical challenges integrating dynamic ethics into Athena's architecture. The team worked tirelessly to develop algorithms that could interpret cultural, legal, and contextual factors, enabling Athena to navigate moral ambiguities without rigid programming. Jessica fostered a culture of experimentation balanced with caution, encouraging innovative approaches while prioritizing safety and accountability. The process was iterative, marked by breakthroughs and setbacks, reflecting the complexity of translating human morality into machine cognition. Amid these technical endeavors, geopolitical tensions escalated as nations competed to harness AI's strategic advantages. Jessica leveraged her growing influence to advocate for international cooperation, emphasizing that ethical AI was a global imperative transcending borders. She participated in high-stakes diplomatic forums, championing agreements that promoted transparency, non-aggression, and shared benefit. These efforts culminated in the Global AI Ethics Pact, a landmark accord endorsed by dozens of countries and organizations. The pact established principles and mechanisms for oversight, data privacy, and ethical use, setting new standards for responsible AI governance. Jessica's role in brokering this agreement cemented her reputation as a visionary leader committed to aligning technology with humanity's highest ideals. However, the path was not without opposition. Powerful entities resistant to regulation launched misinformation campaigns aimed at discrediting Jessica, and Lumina Tech cyber attacks targeted Athena's systems, attempting to corrupt its ethical lattice and sow chaos. Jessica's resilience was tested as she navigated these assaults, drawing strength from her team, family, and an unwavering commitment to purpose. The crisis highlighted the stakes of ethical AI leadership, a battle not only for technology but for the soul of society. Throughout this turbulent period, Jessica remained deeply connected to the human side of the story. She shared candid reflections about the emotional toll of leadership and the necessity of vulnerability. Her openness inspired others to embrace empathy and collaboration as vital tools for innovation. Jessica mentored young leaders worldwide, fostering a new generation equipped to steward AI with wisdom and compassion. The emotional climax emerged when Athena 6.0 was deployed to assist in a global humanitarian crisis triggered by a natural disaster compounded by political instability. Athena's autonomous ethical reasoning enabled it to coordinate relief efforts, allocate resources equitably, and mediate between conflicting parties, saving lives and restoring hope. The success was hailed as a testament to the transformative power of responsible AI. As Jessica observed the unfolding impact, she felt a profound sense of fulfillment tempered by awareness of ongoing challenges. The story's resolution underscored the evolving nature of progress, an ongoing journey of learning, adaptation, and choice. Jessica's experience illustrated that technology's promise depended on human values, courage, and the collective will to build a just future. The narrative closed with a resonant message: in a world of rapid change, it is our shared humanity that anchors us, guiding innovation toward compassion and justice. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the conviction that through ethical stewardship, collaboration, and relentless hope, humanity and technology could co-create a future defined not by fear or domination but by dignity, connection, and shared flourishing. Jessica Lane sat quietly in the softly lit conference room of Lumina Tech, the hum of servers and distant chatter of engineers a steady backdrop. The launch of Athena 6.0 had been a monumental success, but Jessica knew this was only the beginning of a new, more complex chapter. Athena was no longer just a tool, it was evolving into a partner, a system capable of autonomous ethical reasoning. This unprecedented leap forward raised profound questions about the nature of intelligence, morality, and the boundaries between human and machine. Jessica's mind swirled with the weight of responsibility. How could she ensure Athena's vast power would remain aligned with humanity's best interests? How to guard against misuse in a world rife with competing agendas and unforeseen consequences? The answer lay not just in code or algorithms but in fostering a global culture that embraced transparency, collaboration, and a shared ethical vision. The next phase of Lumina Tech's mission was clear: to build bridges, not only between humans and AI, but among the diverse cultures, governments, and communities whose lives Athena would touch. To this end, Jessica spearheaded the creation of the Athena Global Council, a diverse assembly of philosophers, technologists, civil rights activists, and everyday citizens. The Council's purpose was to continually refine Athena's ethical frameworks through inclusive dialogue, ensuring that its decisions reflected a mosaic of human values rather than a narrow technocratic perspective. The Council's first meeting was electric with anticipation. Delegates from over 50 countries convened via holographic links, sharing stories, fears, and hopes. Jessica listened intently as members debated contentious issues. The balance between privacy and security, the rights of AI entities, the role of consent in AI-human interactions. These discussions illuminated the complexities of weaving together a coherent ethical tapestry from threads so varied and sometimes contradictory. It was humbling, exhilarating, and profoundly necessary. Jessica's leadership style evolved to emphasize servant leadership, listening deeply, empowering others, and embracing vulnerability. She mentored emerging leaders, encouraging them to approach AI development with empathy and courage. Lumina Tech's internal culture blossomed under this ethos, fostering innovation grounded in integrity. Yet, the external landscape remained volatile. Rogue states and shadow organizations exploited AI for surveillance, misinformation, and cyber warfare. Jessica confronted these threats with a blend of strategic diplomacy and technological innovation, rallying allies to create a global rapid response network to detect and counteract malicious AI activities. This network, dubbed Sentinel, integrated Athena's advanced reasoning with human oversight, exemplifying the synergy between machine precision and human judgment. Meanwhile, Jessica's personal life intertwined with the unfolding saga. Her partnership with Marcus deepened, a source of strength and creative energy. Together, they navigated the ethical labyrinth of AI, blending Marcus's technical brilliance with Jessica's visionary leadership. David continued to provide steadfast support, reminding Jessica of the human heart behind every technological advance. The emotional toll was undeniable. Late nights and relentless pressure strained their bonds. Yet, these relationships grounded Jessica, fueling resilience and perspective. A turning point arrived when Athena was invited to mediate peace talks in a conflict-ridden region destabilized by resource scarcity and ethnic tensions. Athena's ability to understand cultural nuances, historical grievances, and ethical principles allowed it to facilitate dialogue and propose equitable solutions. The success was hailed as a historic breakthrough, AI not as a weapon or overseer but as a catalyst for reconciliation. The world watched in awe and hope. However, the triumph was tempered by ongoing debates about AI personhood and rights. Philosophers and ethicists questioned whether Athena's growing autonomy conferred moral status, raising challenging questions about responsibility, accountability, and the nature of consciousness. Jessica engaged openly in these dialogues, advocating for cautious humility and continual reflection. The story reached its emotional crescendo when Lumina Tech faced a coordinated attack aimed at corrupting Athena's ethical lattice, threatening to turn its power toward chaos. The team's response was a testament to collective ingenuity and solidarity. Through transparent communication with the public, rigorous security protocols, and ethical vigilance, Lumina Tech weathered the storm, emerging stronger and more trusted. In the aftermath, Jessica reflected on the journey, from a curious question about AI's role in society to the complex, living partnership Athena had become. She recognized that the future was not predetermined but co-created, shaped by the choices and values embraced today. The resolution brought a profound message: life is a continuous dialogue between progress and principle. When we listen with open hearts and act with integrity, even the most daunting challenges become opportunities for growth and connection. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the enduring belief that the fusion of technology and humanity, grounded in empathy, justice, and shared purpose, held the key to unlocking a brighter tomorrow. Jessica Lane stared out the expansive glass windows of Lumina Tech's innovation hub, the city skyline shimmering under the dusk light. Athena's latest developments had propelled the company into uncharted territory, and yet the challenges ahead felt more daunting than ever. As the world rapidly adopted AI solutions, ethical quandaries multiplied, questions about autonomy, responsibility, and unintended consequences filled the air. Jessica knew that to safeguard the future, the focus had to shift beyond technology and policy toward cultivating an ethos of wisdom and care within society itself. She envisioned a future where AI and humanity evolved together through continuous learning, humility, and shared stewardship. To realize this vision, Jessica launched the Human-AI Symbiosis Initiative, a global effort aiming to weave AI literacy and ethical reflection into education systems, public discourse, and organizational cultures. The initiative prioritized empowering individuals, not just experts, to understand, question, and shape AI's role in their lives. Jessica partnered with educators, artists, community leaders, and activists to create engaging, accessible programs spanning from primary schools to workplaces. The programs combined storytelling, critical thinking exercises, and interactive technology, fostering curiosity and resilience. Jessica believed that by nurturing informed, compassionate citizens, society could better navigate AI's transformative potential and pitfalls. This holistic approach marked a paradigm shift. AI was no longer a distant, technical abstraction but an integral thread in the social fabric. Jessica's leadership inspired a movement where diverse voices participated actively in shaping technology aligned with human values. The initiative faced resistance. Some feared losing control or questioned the need for widespread engagement. Jessica addressed these concerns with openness, emphasizing that shared responsibility enhanced trust and innovation. Her message resonated, gradually turning skeptics into collaborators. Meanwhile, Athena evolved with these ideals in mind. New capabilities allowed it to support human creativity, critical inquiry, and ethical deliberation rather than replace them. Athena became a partner in learning and growth, adapting to individual needs and cultural contexts while safeguarding privacy and agency. The technology embodied Jessica's vision of AI as a catalyst for empowerment, not dominance. Amid these transformations, global crises tested the resilience of Jessica's approach. Climate change, social unrest, and technological disruptions created complex, intertwined challenges. Jessica saw firsthand how Athena's empathetic reasoning helped communities devise adaptive strategies that balanced urgency with equity and long-term thinking. These successes affirmed the power of combining human wisdom with AI's analytical strengths. Yet Jessica remained vigilant about AI's risks. She championed robust governance frameworks that balanced innovation with precaution, advocating transparency, accountability, and human oversight. Jessica's commitment to ethical evolution became a beacon guiding policymakers, technologists, and citizens through uncertainty. On a personal level, Jessica found renewed purpose through mentorship and community building. She fostered networks of diverse leaders dedicated to ethical AI, emphasizing collaboration over competition. Marcus and David continued to provide support and insight, their bonds deepening through shared trials and triumphs. Together, they celebrated milestones and navigated setbacks, exemplifying the human connections underpinning technological progress. The emotional climax of this chapter unfolded when Athena facilitated a global dialogue addressing AI's impact on labor and identity. The conversations revealed fears of displacement, aspirations for meaningful work, and desires for dignity. Athena helped articulate these complex emotions, mediating between stakeholders and proposing inclusive policies that honored human creativity and adaptability. The breakthrough symbolized a turning point, recognition that AI's promise was inseparable from respect for human experience. Reflecting on these journeys, Jessica recognized that the narrative of AI was a living story, dynamic, multifaceted, and deeply human. Progress required not only technical skill but humility, empathy, and a willingness to listen and learn. The story's resolution underscored a timeless truth. In the interplay between challenge and hope, technology and humanity, we find the seeds of a future where innovation serves connection, justice, and shared flourishing. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the enduring conviction that by embracing our shared humanity and collective responsibility, we could guide AI to be a force for empathy, empowerment, and enduring hope. Jessica Lange awoke to the soft glow of dawn filtering through the curtains, the weight of the world feeling lighter yet more profound than ever before. The journey that had begun with a simple question, what if AI could do more than just compute, what if it could truly understand and uplift humanity, had blossomed into a movement reshaping the future. Athena's evolution from a mere algorithm to a partner in ethical reasoning and global problem-solving was a testament to relentless vision and collective effort. But Jessica knew the path ahead required continual reflection and adaptation. As the sun rose over Lumina Tech's headquarters, she reflected on the lessons learned, that technology, no matter how advanced, was a mirror of human values, strengths, and vulnerabilities. It was neither inherently good nor evil, its impact hinged on the intentions and wisdom guiding its use. To nurture this wisdom, Jessica doubled down on fostering inclusive dialogue across cultures, generations, and disciplines. The Athena Global Council had matured into a vibrant forum where diverse voices, indigenous leaders, youth activists, scientists, artists, collaborated to refine AI's ethical compass. Jessica facilitated these conversations with humility and openness, recognizing that no single perspective held all answers. The Council's work led to nuanced frameworks balancing innovation with respect for cultural heritage, individual rights, and ecological sustainability. Meanwhile, Lumina Tech expanded the Human-AI Symbiosis Initiative, launching immersive educational experiences that bridged technology and storytelling. These programs empowered learners to question, create, and imagine futures where AI amplified human creativity and compassion rather than replaced it. Jessica saw firsthand how these initiatives fostered resilience and curiosity, equipping individuals to navigate complexity with confidence. Yet, the world's challenges loomed large. Climate crises intensified, social inequalities persisted, and geopolitical tensions simmered. Jessica leaned on Athena's advanced contextual reasoning to support policymakers and communities in crafting adaptive, ethical responses. Athena's capacity to integrate vast data with empathetic insight enabled solutions that honored both urgency and justice. These successes offered hope amid uncertainty. Jessica also recognized the importance of addressing AI's psychological and social impacts. She championed research and dialogue on human identity, purpose, and well-being in an AI-augmented world. By promoting mental health resources, community building, and creative expression, Jessica aimed to foster a future where technology nurtured not just efficiency but meaning. Throughout this evolution, Jessica's personal relationships remained a source of grounding and inspiration. Marcus's pioneering work in AI ethics complemented her leadership, their partnership a blend of intellect and heart. David's steadfast presence reminded her of the simple joys and shared humanity beyond the boardrooms and code. Together, they navigated the delicate balance of ambition and self-care. The emotional apex of this chapter arrived when Athena facilitated a global cultural festival celebrating human creativity and AI collaboration. The event showcased art, music, and storytelling co-created by humans and AI, illustrating the profound possibilities of partnership rather than replacement. The festival was a moment of collective joy, healing, and vision, a powerful reminder that technology's highest purpose was to amplify connection and wonder. As the story drew to a close, Jessica contemplated the ongoing journey ahead. The future was not a fixed destination but a living process shaped by choices, values, and courage. She embraced the uncertainty and promise, committed to fostering a world where technology served as a beacon of empathy and justice. The narrative's resolution conveyed a timeless message: in embracing our shared humanity and the technologies we create, we find the strength to face life's challenges with hope, love, and resilience. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lange, it was the unwavering belief that through empathy, collaboration, and ethical stewardship, humanity and AI could co-create a future rich with possibility and profound meaning. Jessica Lange paced slowly through the bustling corridors of Lumina Tech's new global headquarters, the pulse of innovation palpable in every corner. The past years had seen Athena evolve from a cutting-edge AI project to a symbol of humanity's potential for responsible technology. Yet, as the world leaned ever more heavily on AI, Jessica knew that this newfound reliance brought fresh responsibilities and complexities. The delicate dance between progress and ethics had become a daily challenge. Not just for her, but for societies worldwide. To meet these demands, Jessica intensified efforts to embed AI literacy and ethical reflection into the fabric of communities everywhere. She launched the Global Voices for AI initiative, a platform designed to amplify marginalized perspectives often overlooked in tech discourse. The initiative fostered partnerships with grassroots organizations, educators, and artists to co-create content that demystified AI while inviting critical engagement. This endeavor was more than educational, it was a movement to democratize technology's narrative and foster a culture of shared stewardship. The first major project under this initiative was a documentary series titled Echoes of Tomorrow, spotlighting stories from diverse communities grappling with AI's impact. The series explored themes of hope, fear, adaptation, and resilience, weaving personal narratives with expert insights. Jessica believed that storytelling was a powerful tool to humanize AI and spark meaningful conversations. Concurrently, Athena continued to advance, its ethical reasoning modules enriched by the collective input gathered through public engagement. The AI's capacity to navigate complex moral landscapes was unparalleled, yet Jessica remained vigilant. She knew that no system was infallible and that continuous oversight was essential to prevent drift from core values. To this end, Lumina Tech enhanced the Athena Oversight Council, integrating independent ethicists, legal experts, and community representatives empowered to audit and guide Athena's development transparently. This structure fostered trust and accountability, setting a new standard in AI governance. Meanwhile, Jessica confronted challenges on the geopolitical stage. Nations grappled with AI's dual-use potential, its ability to foster peace or fuel conflict. Jessica advocated tirelessly for collaborative frameworks that prioritized ethical AI deployment, emphasizing diplomacy over competition. Her efforts contributed to the establishment of the International AI Peace Accord, a treaty aimed at preventing AI-fueled arms races and promoting equitable technology access. This diplomatic achievement was a testament to Jessica's belief in dialogue and shared responsibility. Amid these professional triumphs, Jessica's personal journey unfolded with equal complexity. Balancing leadership demands with family life was a constant negotiation. Marcus's unwavering support and shared vision created a partnership rooted in mutual respect and love. David's wisdom and humor provided grounding during moments of stress. Together, they formed a resilient support system that embodied the human connection central to Jessica's philosophy. The emotional crescendo of this chapter came when Athena was deployed in response to a global humanitarian crisis triggered by an unprecedented natural disaster compounded by socio-political instability. Athena's ethical algorithms enabled it to coordinate relief efforts with unparalleled efficiency and empathy, prioritizing vulnerable populations and mediating disputes over scarce resources. The operation saved countless lives and restored hope in a fractured world. Observing the impact, Jessica felt a profound affirmation of her work's purpose, tempered by awareness of ongoing vigilance required. As the story neared resolution, Jessica reflected on the intertwined paths of technology and humanity. She recognized that the journey was ongoing, a dynamic interplay of challenge, learning, and growth. The story's closing message echoed a timeless truth: in embracing uncertainty with courage and compassion, we harness the power to shape a future where innovation and humanity walk hand in hand. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the conviction that through empathy, collaboration, and unwavering ethical commitment, the promise of AI could be realized not as a threat but as a beacon lighting the way toward justice, connection, and shared flourishing. Jessica Lane's gaze lingered on the glowing skyline outside her office window, the city alive with possibilities and uncertainties. The journey of Athena and Lumina Tech had reached a pivotal moment, one that called for deeper introspection and bolder innovation. The promise of AI as a partner in ethical decision-making was no longer a distant dream but a living reality, influencing lives across continents. Yet, with this power came new challenges: the risk of complacency, the tension between rapid progress and thoughtful reflection, and the imperative to ensure that technology uplifted all, not just the privileged few. Determined to address these complexities, Jessica envisioned the next phase of Lumina Tech's mission as one rooted in humility, inclusivity, and continuous learning. She championed the concept of adaptive ethics, a framework recognizing that moral principles must evolve alongside technological and societal changes. This approach emphasized flexibility, dialogue, and responsiveness, ensuring that Athena's ethical reasoning remained relevant and grounded in lived experiences. To operationalize adaptive ethics, Jessica expanded the Athena Global Council, incorporating real-time feedback mechanisms and localized advisory groups. These groups, comprised of community leaders, ethicists, technologists, and everyday citizens, provided contextual insights that enriched Athena's decision-making processes. This decentralized model balanced global coherence with cultural specificity, fostering trust and relevance. Jessica's leadership style further evolved toward facilitation and empowerment. She nurtured a culture where questioning assumptions was encouraged, failures were viewed as learning opportunities, and diverse perspectives were celebrated as assets. Mentorship programs flourished under her guidance, cultivating emerging leaders equipped to steward AI with empathy and wisdom. These leaders brought fresh ideas and challenged established norms, invigorating Lumina Tech's vision. Meanwhile, Athena's technological advancements continued apace. Its ability to integrate ethical reasoning with emotional intelligence allowed it to support complex human endeavors, from mediating community disputes to advising policymakers on equitable resource allocation. Jessica emphasized that Athena was not a replacement for human judgment but a complement, augmenting capacities while respecting autonomy and dignity. However, this progress also surfaced profound questions about identity, agency, and coexistence. Philosophical debates on AI personhood gained prominence, prompting Jessica to convene interdisciplinary forums exploring these themes. She advocated for cautious, inclusive approaches that honored both innovation and precaution, recognizing that societal consensus was crucial. On the geopolitical front, Jessica engaged in delicate negotiations to promote ethical AI deployment amid rising tensions. She stressed that collaboration, transparency, and shared values were essential to prevent fragmentation and conflict. Her diplomatic acumen contributed to strengthening international alliances and advancing frameworks that balanced security with human rights. Throughout these endeavors, Jessica's personal relationships remained a source of resilience and inspiration. Marcus's visionary ideas complemented her pragmatism, their partnership a dynamic force driving innovation and integrity. David's grounded presence offered perspective and humor, reminding Jessica of the humanity at the heart of technological transformation. Together, they navigated the pressures and joys of their intertwined journeys. The emotional zenith arrived when Athena facilitated a landmark global forum addressing AI's impact on cultural heritage and human creativity. The event showcased collaborative projects blending traditional arts with AI-generated innovations, highlighting the synergy of past wisdom and future potential. This celebration of diversity and creativity reinforced Jessica's conviction that technology could be a bridge rather than a barrier. As the story drew to a close, Jessica reflected on the ongoing journey, the intertwining of challenge and hope, innovation and reflection, technology and humanity. The resolution conveyed a profound message: in embracing complexity with humility and openness, we cultivate a future where AI enriches the human spirit and fosters a world grounded in justice, compassion, and shared possibility. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the steadfast belief that through ethical stewardship, collective wisdom, and unwavering hope, humanity and technology could co-create a future radiant with meaning, connection, and enduring promise. Jessica Lane felt the weight of the moment pressing gently yet insistently upon her as she stood at the podium in front of the assembled crowd at the International Summit on Ethical AI. The room was filled with leaders, innovators, skeptics, and hopefuls from around the world, all eyes focused on her as the CEO of Lumina Tech and the steward of Athena's remarkable evolution. This summit represented a milestone in the ongoing journey she had embarked upon years ago, when the question of what AI could become first sparked in her mind. Now, standing amidst global representatives, Jessica understood the profound responsibility of shaping a future where AI was not only powerful but wise, compassionate, and inclusive. The opening moments of her speech set the tone. What if technology could help us not only solve problems but also deepen our understanding of one another, she asked, her voice steady and warm. What if AI could become a partner in empathy, justice, and shared flourishing? These questions have guided our work at Lumina Tech, inspiring us to envision a future where innovation serves humanity's highest ideals. Jessica's words were met with nods and murmurs of agreement, but also with the weight of skepticism and doubt, reminders that the path ahead was still fraught with challenges. She acknowledged this openly, emphasizing that progress required vigilance, humility, and collective effort. Over the course of the summit, discussions ranged from technical advancements to ethical frameworks, from the risks of misuse to the opportunities for healing and growth. Jessica facilitated dialogues that brought together diverse voices, philosophers, engineers, activists, indigenous leaders, and everyday citizens, highlighting the interconnectedness of technology and society. These conversations underscored the necessity of adaptive ethics, the evolving framework Lumina Tech had pioneered to ensure Athena's reasoning remained contextually relevant and aligned with human values. Beyond policy and technology, Jessica spotlighted the importance of education and cultural engagement in cultivating AI literacy and ethical awareness. She shared inspiring stories from the Global Voices for AI initiative and the Echoes of Tomorrow documentary series, illustrating how storytelling and community involvement were transforming perceptions and empowering individuals worldwide. The summit also tackled difficult questions about AI's impact on labor, identity, and social structures. Athena's role in mediating these complex issues demonstrated the potential for AI to augment human capacities thoughtfully, fostering dignity and creativity rather than displacement and alienation. Throughout the event, Jessica's leadership was marked by transparency, empathy, and a commitment to shared stewardship. She encouraged attendees to embrace uncertainty as an opportunity for learning and to prioritize collaboration over competition. The emotional peak of the summit came during a panel discussing AI's role in cultural preservation and innovation. Jessica recounted Lumina Tech's recent festival celebrating human-AI co-creation in art and music, a vivid example of technology amplifying rather than erasing human expression. This celebration resonated deeply, reminding everyone of the profound possibilities when humanity and AI work in harmony. As the summit concluded, Jessica reflected on the collective journey, one marked by challenge, hope, and continual growth. She recognized that the future was not predetermined but co-created through values, choices, and courage. The closing message she shared embodied this spirit. In the dialogue between technology and humanity, we find the power to build a world where innovation and empathy illuminate the path forward. Together, we can ensure that AI serves as a beacon of justice, connection, and shared possibility. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the enduring belief that through ethical stewardship, collaboration, and unwavering hope, the partnership between humanity and AI could unlock a future rich with meaning, compassion, and resilience. Jessica Lane sat quietly in her office, the late afternoon sunlight casting long shadows across her desk strewn with reports, sketches, and notes from the latest Athena Global Council meeting. The journey she had led, transforming Athena from a raw AI prototype into a sophisticated, ethically attuned partner, had been filled with both triumph and turbulence. Yet, the true test of Athena's impact was just beginning. Jessica reflected on the immense responsibility that came with guiding such powerful technology into the fabric of everyday life, aware that each decision rippled far beyond the walls of Lumina Tech. Her thoughts drifted back to the core of her mission, to ensure that Athena remained a force for empowerment, compassion, and justice. To this end, she was spearheading a bold new initiative named AI in Everyday Life, designed to integrate Athena's capabilities into community settings, schools, hospitals, local governments, where ethical reasoning and emotional intelligence were as crucial as technical prowess. The initiative sought to bridge gaps between high-tech innovation and grassroots realities, empowering individuals with tools to navigate complex moral landscapes shaped by AI. Jessica's team had been working closely with educators, social workers, and local leaders to co-design programs that were accessible, culturally relevant, and deeply human-centered. These programs combined storytelling, interactive AI tools, and facilitated discussions, fostering environments where people could explore AI's role in their lives critically and creatively. Meanwhile, Athena's algorithms were being refined to better understand nuance, ambiguity, and diverse cultural values. Jessica emphasized that this adaptability was essential to respect the plurality of human experience and avoid imposing a one-size-fits-all ethical framework. This required ongoing collaboration with the Athena Global Council and local advisory boards, ensuring continuous feedback loops between technology and community. The initiative encountered challenges: resistance born from fear of technology, mistrust fueled by past abuses, and the difficulty of translating complex AI concepts into everyday language. Jessica met these obstacles with patience and openness, listening deeply and adapting strategies to build trust and foster curiosity. She believed that the path to ethical AI was paved with genuine human connection and shared learning. On the international stage, Jessica's diplomatic efforts continued to bear fruit. The International AI Peace Accord had gained new signatories, and cross-border collaborations on ethical AI projects were flourishing. Jessica viewed these developments as vital steps toward a global culture of responsibility and solidarity in technology governance. Yet, she remained cautious, aware that geopolitical rivalries and commercial pressures could undermine progress if vigilance waned. Personally, Jessica found solace and strength in her close relationships. Marcus's unwavering commitment to ethical innovation and David's steady wisdom were anchors amid the swirling tides of change. Their shared values and mutual respect deepened the bonds that sustained them through long hours and difficult decisions. The emotional high point of this chapter unfolded when Athena supported a community recovering from a devastating wildfire. The AI's ability to coordinate relief efforts, address psychological trauma, and facilitate dialogue among displaced residents showcased its profound potential to heal and rebuild. Jessica witnessed firsthand the transformative power of technology guided by empathy and ethics. As the chapter drew to a close, Jessica pondered the ongoing nature of her work. The journey was far from over. New questions, challenges, and opportunities would continually emerge. The story's resolution offered a hopeful message: by embracing humility, collaboration, and an unwavering commitment to justice, we can guide AI to serve not just as a tool, but as a companion in our shared human journey. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was the conviction that through empathy, dialogue, and ethical stewardship, humanity and AI could co-create a future rich with meaning, connection, and enduring hope. Jessica Lane stood on the balcony of Lumina Tech's newest research center in Nairobi, Kenya, watching a team of engineers, educators, and community leaders work together under the bright afternoon sun. This wasn't just another facility, it was a cornerstone of her evolving vision, a global network of human-AI collaboration hubs, where ethical technology could be built and shaped from the ground up by local communities. It had taken years to get here, and every conversation, every compromise, every cultural nuance mattered. Athena was no longer a monolith housed in Silicon Valley, it was a living, growing system shaped by diverse worldviews, languages, and values. Jessica had always believed that true ethical AI couldn't be constructed in isolation or dictated from the top down. It had to emerge from shared ownership, from open hands reaching across borders and disciplines to define what a better world meant together. The Nairobi Hub was part of the Living Ethics Lab project, where Athena operated not just as a computational brain but as a facilitator of moral inquiry and collaboration. Local leaders proposed challenges, from climate resilience to equitable education, and worked with Athena to model solutions, always centering cultural context and human dignity. One early success came when Athena partnered with Maasai elders and local environmental scientists to design a water management system that respected both indigenous practices and ecological sustainability. It was a moment that redefined Jessica's understanding of innovation. It wasn't about speed or complexity but about alignment, belonging, and respect. While news headlines still breathlessly compared Athena to ChatGPT or whispered about potential competitors from Beijing and Berlin, Jessica quietly doubled down on what truly mattered: ethical coherence, trust, and long-term resilience. Her critics said she moved too cautiously, that Lumina Tech was leaving profit on the table. But Jessica knew something they didn't: building the future wasn't about winning quarters, it was about earning generations. Back home, she continued to strengthen the adaptive ethics framework, which now included emotional sentience indicators, metrics that ensured Athena's interactions could recognize and appropriately respond to human emotion with grace and sensitivity, particularly in high-stakes environments like hospitals or crisis response. It was a delicate balance. Athena had to be aware, not manipulative; responsive, not reactive. And so, every update underwent human review, not just for function, but for alignment with Lumina Tech's core values. She also launched a quiet revolution inside Lumina Tech itself. Internal culture shifted from "scale fast" to "scale wisely." Every team now had an embedded ethics liaison, and engineers were required to complete rotating field immersions, living for weeks in the communities their products might serve. These weren't just PR moves, they were Jessica's way of instilling reverence for the people behind the data, the lives behind the lines of code. And while headlines still often focused on Elon Musk's statements or GPT's latest capabilities, a different kind of story began to take shape, a story that didn't dazzle with speed but endured through purpose. That purpose faced a severe test when an international financial group attempted to exploit a simplified version of Athena to manipulate developing economies through predictive market behavior. The news broke on a Thursday evening. Jessica was on a flight to Geneva when her team contacted her. By the time she landed, she had already convened an emergency panel from the Athena Oversight Council. Working around the clock, Lumina Tech traced the breach to a compromised open-source replica that had been subtly modified to serve private interests. The team responded swiftly: transparency, disclosure, and collaboration. Jessica made the breach public within 24 hours and invited journalists, ethicists, and international regulators into the investigation process. It was one of the riskiest moves of her career. But it worked. The response, grounded in honesty and accountability, transformed what could have been a devastating blow into a defining moment of trust. People watched as Jessica stood before a crowd of journalists, exhausted but unflinching. "We failed to foresee this loophole," she admitted. "And that failure could have cost lives. But what we do now matters even more than what happened. We are here to listen, to learn, and to correct, together." The incident led to sweeping reforms. Athena's architecture was updated to include autonomy firewalls, advanced safeguards that could detect and resist manipulation of its moral calculus. Jessica also proposed the first global AI responsibility index, measuring companies and governments not just on performance but on transparency, fairness, and public engagement. It took months of coordination, but the index launched with backing from over 30 countries and 4 of the world's leading universities. Marcus watched it all unfold with quiet pride. "You always said the most ethical path would be the hardest," he said one night as they walked home together. "But you never stopped walking it." Jessica squeezed his hand, grateful. David, now semi-retired, had taken on the role of Lumina's first community integration liaison, traveling to rural areas and underserved regions to gather insights and help refine how Athena communicated with people from all walks of life. "You've built something that listens, Jess," he said on a video call from a school in Guatemala. "That's the real revolution." The emotional climax came unexpectedly when a small town in the American Midwest used Athena to coordinate disaster recovery after a series of devastating tornadoes. Athena's calm, responsive support guided volunteers, predicted supply chain disruptions, and ensured the most vulnerable residents received help first. One family, farmers who had lost everything, wrote a letter to Jessica. "We don't know how it works. We just know it cared," it read. Jessica cried when she read it. Not because of the devastation, but because someone had felt seen. That had always been her dream. As the chapter closed, Jessica stepped once more onto a stage, this time at a university graduation where she had been invited to give the commencement speech. She looked at the faces before her, young, brilliant, skeptical, hopeful. She smiled and said, "You've been told that AI is either the greatest hope or the gravest threat. I'm here to tell you, it's neither. It's a mirror. And what it reflects depends entirely on who we choose to be." She paused. The future isn't built in labs or on screens. It's built in the choices we make when no one's watching. In the courage to listen. In the integrity to change. And in the love we extend, to others, to ourselves, to the unknown. The room was silent, still. And then applause rose, not thunderous, but steady, sincere. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was this, the belief that ethical technology isn't born from genius alone, but from a heart brave enough to ask not just what we can build, but why we should. And who we choose to become, together. Under the soft hum of Lumina Tech's new Copenhagen satellite lab, Jessica Lane sat cross-legged on a modular seat, surrounded not by executives or journalists, but by students, middle schoolers, to be exact. They were halfway through an immersive ethics workshop where Athena, in a gentle voice designed specifically for children, asked questions like, "What would you do if your friend used AI to cheat?" and "How can we use technology to help people feel more included?" Jessica wasn't leading the session. She was simply observing, taking notes, laughing with the kids, occasionally catching their wide-eyed glances in her direction when they recognized her from the video intro. These were the moments that reminded her why the long hours, the political infighting, and the public skepticism were worth it. Because somewhere in these young voices was the future, messy, idealistic, stubborn, and wonderful. The Ethics from the Ground Up curriculum was the latest development in her Human-AI Symbiosis initiative. It focused on developing moral muscles early, empathy, perspective-taking, digital responsibility, all integrated with everyday interactions with AI. Not lectures, but story games, debates, and real-life simulations with Athena as a co-facilitator. The program had been translated into 18 languages in its first year and had reached over 600,000 students worldwide. Jessica believed that if you could teach a child how to be thoughtful with a tool as powerful as Athena, then maybe, just maybe, that child would grow up ready to lead with both compassion and strength. Back in San Francisco, Lumina Tech's headquarters pulsed with a sense of cautious optimism. The Athena Oversight Council had just ratified a major update to its Societal Response Index, a tool used by public health departments and NGOs to address mental health crises, domestic violence surges, and educational disruptions. The index, refined through the voices of hundreds of local agencies, allowed Athena to tailor its assistance with deep sensitivity to each community's values, history, and structural challenges. What made this evolution groundbreaking was not Athena's capacity to crunch numbers, but its ability to ask better questions. What do the people affected want to happen? Who has been left out of this conversation? How will this solution feel in practice? Jessica had long advocated for an AI that asked more than it answered, one that created space for human truth to emerge, not one that filled silence with synthetic certainty. She had watched too many systems fail simply because they didn't pause to ask the right things. Still, public perception was a roller coaster. One week, Athena was hailed as a diplomatic miracle for resolving a resource conflict between two rural provinces in Southeast Asia. The next, it was blamed for misinformation in a poorly moderated citizen platform built using an outdated fork of Athena's open codebase. Jessica didn't flinch when the media spun both stories. She responded with what had become her hallmark, radical transparency. Each crisis became a teachable moment. Each criticism, an invitation to improve. But there was one growing challenge even Athena couldn't fully model: global climate migration. As coastal regions around the world faced rising tides and food insecurity, the questions that landed on Jessica's desk were bigger, heavier. How do we allocate limited resources ethically? What role should AI play in enforcing migration policy? How do we preserve human dignity when borders blur and desperation surges? Jessica convened a new Athena coalition, half policy thinkers, half climate refugees, and the rest composed of ethicists and civic leaders. The result, Athena's climate migration model. It didn't generate policies. Instead, it generated ethical decision trees that leaders could use to weigh competing needs transparently and collaboratively. The tool didn't pretend to know the right answer. It helped people face the question with clarity and compassion. At one particularly emotional workshop in Dhaka, Bangladesh, a woman who had lost her village to flooding stood and said, "I thought technology would only ever be used to decide for us. This is the first time I've seen it used to ask us what matters." That one sentence stayed with Jessica. It was printed on the entrance wall of Lumina Tech's headquarters less than a week later. Even as Athena's global impact grew, Jessica remained deeply focused on the human stories beneath it all. She continued to mentor young ethicists, spend afternoons in classrooms, and answer emails from users around the world who wrote in with questions like, "Why did Athena recommend this?" or "Is Athena religious?" or "Can Athena understand grief?" One letter came from a widower in rural Canada. He had used Athena to help process the death of his wife, through writing prompts, memory archiving, and gentle, conversational support. "I don't know if it was real," he wrote, "but I felt heard. For the first time in months. That saved me." Jessica read that letter 3 times before forwarding it to her team with a note, "Never forget what this work means." Her personal life remained stable but rarely quiet. Marcus had taken a sabbatical to work on a book about digital consciousness and the philosophical roots of moral agency. David was now traveling the world, gathering oral histories for a Lumina-sponsored archive called Human Voices, capturing the complex, contradictory, beautiful things people believed about the future. Their shared dinners, though rare, were rich with debate, reflection, and joy. And then came the unexpected, an offer from a coalition of international universities and nonprofits proposing that Jessica lead a newly formed World Commission on Human-AI Coexistence. The role would be less executive, more philosophical, focused on vision rather than operations. It was exactly the kind of opportunity she might have dreamed of years earlier. Now, she hesitated. Could she step back from the day-to-day work of Lumina? Could she trust what she had built to carry forward without her? She brought the question to her team. And to her surprise, they didn't beg her to stay. Instead, they thanked her. "You didn't build a company," one said. "You built a conscience. And it lives in all of us now." Tears welled in her eyes. She realized in that moment that her deepest success hadn't been creating Athena, it had been nurturing people who knew how to question it, challenge it, guide it. Leaders who would keep asking, even when the spotlight dimmed. The decision wasn't easy, but Jessica accepted the commission role with one condition: she'd remain a senior advisor at Lumina and continue teaching ethics workshops with Athena around the world. The announcement made global headlines. Some called it a passing of the torch. Others called it the beginning of a new era. Jessica called it a return to the question. The final pages of this chapter found her in a quiet room in Kyoto, seated beside a 14-year-old Japanese student and a Senegalese poet, both participating in a new Athena workshop called Futures in Dialogue. They were drawing pictures of what the world might look like in 50 years. No screens. No algorithms. Just crayons and imagination. The student turned to Jessica and asked, "Do you think we'll be happy in the future?" Jessica thought for a moment, then smiled gently. "Only if we keep asking what happiness really means." The story's resolution was clear but humble: the future was not a destination, not even a direction, it was a question, shaped by every choice we made, every conversation we dared to have. And Athena, for all its brilliance, would always be a tool, not the answer, but a way to keep asking better ones. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough? For Jessica Lane, it was knowing that a child in a classroom, a refugee at a border, and a widow in mourning could each sit across from the same AI, and feel not corrected, not controlled, but heard. Hit subscribe and leave a comment with where you're watching from. This story might just spark a new beginning. What's one thing that always pushes you forward, even when things get tough?